Hello everyone, my name is Praveen Anchal and I welcome you all in our channel Anime to Study. Today we will discuss about the fourth part of this chapter, that is federalism. So here in this particular part we will discuss that how is federalism practiced in India. So this is very important topic, and under this topic we will discuss these three subtopic, that is linguistic states, language policy and center state relation. So let's start it. So friends, here the federalism cannot be practiced if the people of India or if the people of any country are not willing to live together with each other, or if they are not respecting the diversity of each other. So that is very important, that they should live with each other peacefully, they should respect the diversity of each other, and they should have trust with each other. So friends, when India got independence, so they saw so many challenges. Okay, so like in 1947 when we saw independence, so this independence came with the painful partition between India and Pakistan. And apart from that particular painful partition, in which so many people from both the side have been killed in religious violence, apart from that also, even after independence we saw so many problems. Like we have seen the problem of migration, the people who are coming as a refugee from Pakistan, where they will live, how they will live. Now the second problem was the big size country, where the people were divided on the basis of religion, on the basis of caste, on the basis of n number of other factors. So on top of this challenge, we were having some other challenges also, such as linguistic states, language policy and center-state relation. So these are some other challenges that were coming in front of our federalism. How we can perform federalism? So we can perform federalism in much better way if we can handle these all challenges properly. So in this particular video, we will discuss one by one how India has handled this linguistic state challenge, language policy challenge and center-state relation challenge. So let's start it. So let's start from the linguistic states. So what do you understand by the linguistic state? So linguistic states are the state which is based on the language. So if you see the India that is today and the India in 1947, so there is a big difference between these two India. Like in 1947 we were having about 14 states and 6 union territories, but today we have 28 states and 8 union territories, and that is why we have to see how this all differences came. It is not a sudden change, it has gone through a long period of time. So we will discuss this linguistic state in a very detailed manner. So our story starts from Andhra Pradesh. So in 1952 in Andhra Pradesh, one leader was there who was having Gandhian philosophy, and the leader name was P. Sriramulu ji, and he was demanding for the separate state for Telugu speaking people, and that will be called as Andhra Pradesh. But initially his proposal was rejected by the central government, because central government was thinking that already India has seen one partition, that is in 1947, in which so many people were killed from both the side, that is from India and Pakistan, and now central government don't want to see any further disintegration within India, and that is why they were not entertaining all those demands that were demanding for the division within India. But P. Sriramulu ji was also very rigid in his demand, and he also started one fast that is known as fast unto death, and it was very dangerous fast, because after 58 days from his fast, he died in 1952 December, I think 15 December 1952 he died. And once he died now, so the people around that region started doing violence, and they were very angry. And you must remember, on that time Lok Sabha election was going on in India, so the central government don't want to take challenge with the people. So finally, because of the people's pressure, our central government finally accepted their demand, and Andhra Pradesh became the first state of India on the basis of language on 1st of October 1953. So you must remember, which is the first state on the basis of language in India? So the answer is Andhra Pradesh. So once the Andhra Pradesh was made, so other people from other areas were also demanding the same demand, and that is why, to meet their demand, our government has made one particular committee which was known as State Reorganization Committee, and this committee has submitted the report in 1956, in which they said that yes, we should make more such states on the basis of language. After that, so many states made in India. For example, Assam was made, Odisha was made, Kerala was made, Karnataka was made, as well as Tamil Nadu was also made. If you see, these all states are based on language only. For example, Kerala, Malayalam, Karnataka, Kannada, Tamil Nadu, Tamil, Assam, Assamese, Odisha, Odia. So you can see these all states are based on language only. Now after that, in 1960, we have divided Bombay into Maharashtra and Gujarat. Again, you can see Maharashtra Marathi and Gujarat Gujarati. And in 1966, we have divided Punjab into two states, that is Punjab and Haryana. In Punjab, people were speaking Punjabi, and non-Punjabi means pro-Hindi Haryanvi people were included in Haryana. So in that way, you can understand so many states were made on the basis of language. But friends, all the states in India are not based on language. Some states are also based on cultural diversity and geographical features. For example, there is one state that is known as Nagaland. So in Nagaland, all the Naga people are living, and they have unique culture and diversity. That is why we have made separate state for them, that is known as Nagaland. Apart from that, there is one more state which is called as Himachal Pradesh. So Himachal Pradesh, you can understand Him, that is Himalaya is coming. So since it is a mountainous region, that is why again we have made this state, that is Himachal Pradesh. So friends, all the states in India are not based on language. Some are based on culture and geographical features also. Now here, one thing I just want to add here, that when India got independence in 1947, people were predicting that India will not be a truly successful country, and after 10 to 15 years, India will divide into multiple smaller nations, because within India we have such a high diversity. So many different type of people belonging to different backgrounds are living in India. But after giving this liberty, after giving this opportunity that people can speak in their own language, people can perform their diversity, people can perform their culture, people can perform their n number of other practices, this particular liberty has given our country a chance to respect and to live with each other in a peaceful and lovely environment. And believe me, people are enjoying in speaking their language, and this has not disintegrated India but united India in more stronger manner. Now the next topic will start, that is language policy. So here, before starting anything, I just want to share you some data. According to 2001 census, we have about 1500 languages in India, which has been claimed by the citizen of India as their mother language. But if you group these all languages together now, like we have Chhattisgarhi, we have Bundelkhandi, we have Rajasthani, we have Bhojpuri. So if you will all include these languages into one group, that is Hindi, then also after doing this all grouping, then also we have about 114 major languages in India. And out of these 114 major languages, we have made 22 languages which we have included in 8th schedule of Indian Constitution, which is known as Scheduled Language of India. If central government is conducting any examination, so you can give your examination in any of these 22 languages. Like suppose if somebody is giving UPSC examination, so they can opt for any one language of this all 22 languages in this scheduled language of India. So remember, how many scheduled language we have in India? We have 22 scheduled language in India. Now after that, few more facts I just want to share with you, which is very important. So the first point is, India don't have any national language. This is very big point. Yes, India don't have any national language. Apart from that, India have official language. For example, Hindi, which is spoken by 41% of Indian population, is our official language. Means it will be used for official purpose by the government. But apart from that, we have English also as an official language. English, which is spoken by just 0.02 people in India as the first language, and if you will include the second and third language also, then the percentage of population goes to 11% who are using English as their second and third language. And one more thing I just want to tell you here, English means also, apart from means it is an official language, but then also it is used for interstate communication as well as judiciary purpose also it is used. So here one example I am giving to you, that is interstate language. So here suppose there is one state, that is Tamil Nadu, and there is one another state, that is Uttar Pradesh. So in Uttar Pradesh language is different, and in Tamil Nadu language is different. That is why to bring commonness within the communication, they are using English. So that is why English is used in interstate communication. What is the meaning of interstate communication? One state government to other state government. So I hope this is clear to you all. One more very interesting point I just want to tell you here, that originally in our constitution English was to be used as an official language till 1965, but due to strong protest by all non-Hindi speaking states, our government has taken final decision that English will continue to be used as official language of India, and also today it is official language of India. Now the next very important point is, all the state government can make their separate official language. For example, if Maharashtra want, they can make Marathi as their official language. If Gujarat want, they can make Gujarati as their official language. You can see here in this screen, we have shown you all 22 scheduled languages of India. And at last, in this particular topic, I just want to say that if we talk about the language diversity of India now, so India is one of the most rich, diverse country of the world in terms of language. So that you must remember. Now we are starting the next topic, that is called as center-state relation. So let's talk about the center-state relation. So if you want to talk about the center-state relation or the power sharing between the center-state relation, then it is not the same all the time since independence in India. It is always changing. For example, I will give you, 3 periods, that is from 1947 to 1990s, 1990s to 2014, and 2014 to present time. So these 3 very important periods I'm sharing with you. So please try to understand properly. Fine. So let's start the first period, that is from 1947 to 1990s. So in this particular time period, both at the central level as well as in most of the state, we have only single political party that was dominating the central government as well as state government. So remember, if only one political party is ruling in central level as well as in most of the state government, then it is not good for the federal structure of India or any country, because in that case what happens, if suppose any malpractices is done by the state government, then central government will not say anything because both are the same political party, and if central government will do any malpractices, then state government will not say because both are again the same political party. So it is not good for the interest of India. The second very negative point is that whatever the central government will say, the state government have to follow as it is, as a subunit of the central government, because both are coming again from the same political party, and the state government cannot deny the bigger central government if they both are from the same political party. And the second part is also there. Imagine if in central government different political party is there and in state government different political party is there. So sometimes this central government was not giving all the facilities to that one state government where different political party was there. So you can understand in both the way the political parties were not performing this federalism in a best possible manner. And that is why we can say that in early years of independence in our country, the federalism was performed in a very, very average manner. But the picture changed after 1990s, and after 1990s now, no single party was forming the government at central level by their own. Means they have to take support from other regional political parties to form the government at the central level. That is why the concept of coalition government took place. Now, what is the meaning of coalition government? So, coalition means when 2 or more political parties are coming together for forming government, then this type of government is known as coalition government. So, when the concept of coalition government took place now, so many political parties were sharing power in government, and that is why the bigger political parties were listening to the smaller political parties, and smaller political parties could also perform their power in a much better manner. So you can understand in this particular period, federalism was practiced in a better manner in India. Now this particular period, that is from 1990s to 2014, was a period of coalition government, and after 2014 Modi ji came, and Modi ji came with full majority. Means after this long period of time, first time in India one political party came which came with full majority, and in 2019 also they have repeated the same success story, and they will continue till 2024. So you can understand this period of 10 years, that is from 2014 to 2024, we have one political party which has full majority on their own. So you can understand these three very important period, that is from 1947 to 1990s, then from 1990s to 2014, and then from 2014 to 2024. So friends, at last I am asking you one simple question. How many of you are thinking in present time the central government, who is there with full majority, is doing discrimination between the states where their political party is ruling and versus the states where their political party is not ruling? So please think over it and comment below. So please share your answer. If you will include some data with that now, then it will be more beautiful. So friends, that's it in this particular part, and we will meet you in the next video where we will discuss about decentralization in India. So till then, bye bye, take care of yourself. Thank you.